Welcome to the Introverted Influencer Podcast. I'm your host, Erica Van Slyke. My soul's mission on this planet is to help fellow introverts grow their online influence in a state of feminine flow and ease. While battling the woes of depression, anxiety, and even mom guilt, I've somehow managed to build a six-figure blog without the use of social media and without sacrificing my mental health. If I can do it, you can fucking too. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to episode 39 of the Introverted Influencer Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me for another message. So this week we're entering into the madness that is the holiday season. Thanksgiving is a few days away, which by the time you hear this, it'll probably have passed. But I always get kind of overwhelmed and stressed this time of year. And I had a lot on the agenda today and this week to accomplish before Thanksgiving. And that kind of all fell to the wayside because my sweet little boy is running a fever right now. But I wanted to just hop on here really quick because I didn't want to not show up for you this week. I think we need all the positivity we can get right now between the craziness of the world we live in, the craziness of the holiday season. So I'm showing up, but this episode may be kind of brief. Nonetheless, as much as I am not a techie person, I'm not a social media person, and I can bitch about the ways of the world, saying it's all going to hell in a handbasket. Things are getting way too techie and way too AI for my liking, because I'm more of a simple, nature-based type of soul. I've got to say that there are some really beautiful aspects to the advances in our technology, and especially how it's allowed human beings to be more connected than ever before, which is amazing. And this kind of leads me into this week's message. It's allowed for a major paradigm shift. Whereas before, back in the days of like traditional media, before the internet and before social media, we relied on gatekeepers to tell us if we were good enough. You know, aspiring artists, aspiring musicians, aspiring writers. We had to submit our work to a gatekeeper who would tell us basically how our lives were going to turn out. And it was all based on others' approval. But now, with the internet and social media, we get to choose ourselves and then put our work out without the need of a middleman to submit it and promote it, because it can be up to us. And that leads me to share with you today, if you have just been waiting around on, I don't know, until you've reached some sort of accolade, until someone else has told you you're good enough, it's time to stop that right now. You're wasting your life away. That is not the vibe. And I want to share a blog post that really inspired me years ago. Seth Godin, he is a brilliant man, and he's got a great perspective on this. So I just want to read this little excerpt for you today. It's called Reject the Tyranny of Being Picked. Pick Yourself. Amanda Hawking is making $1 million a year publishing her own work to the Kindle, no publisher. Rebecca Black has reached more than 15 million listeners, like it or not, without a record label. Are we better off without gatekeepers? I'm not sure that this is even the right question, whether or not we're better off. The fact is that the gatekeepers, the pickers, are reeling, losing power, and fading away. What are you going to do about it? It's a cultural instinct to wait to get picked, to seek out the permission and authority that comes from a publisher or talk show host, or even a blogger saying, I pick you. Once you reject that impulse and realize that no one is going to select you, that Prince Charming has chosen another house, then you can actually get to work. If you're hoping that the HR people you sent your resume to are about to pick you, it's going to be a long wait. Once you understand that there are problems just waiting to be solved, once you realize that you have all the tools and all the permission you need, then opportunities to contribute abound. No one is going to pick you. Pick yourself. So, not only did I want to share this message with you today as a way to see that the times we live in, I know it can seem hopeless, but sometimes it's good to see things through another lens, a rose-colored lens, that, it is also an exciting time to be alive, and that there are tools we have now that make it possible to live differently, live truly in alignment with our true selves and not just act like cogs in a wheel, so to speak. But also, so I wanted to give you hope if you've been just feeling like hopeless about the state of humanity. But I also share this so that you can see that at the end of the day, so much of the entrepreneurial journey is really a spiritual one, especially if you want to live life from a place of flow and not force. So much of manifesting what we want from life is really a journey of self-love. It's a journey of deciding you are worthy, first and foremost, that you are good with you, and anybody else who wants to get on board with you, great. But you're not approaching life from a place of needing to fill some sort of void. You aren't looking for subscribers or followers or customers from a place of lack and needing to fill and needing to be validated. There is a universal law, as within, so without. And this really just summarizes the fact that our outside world and everything we're experiencing in our reality right now is simply a reflection of what is going on in our inner world. And so, if you believe you are lacking someone to tell you you are good enough, if you are lacking someone to validate you or anoint you, that is the vibration of, in a way, scarcity. It's a vibration of self-doubt. It's sort of a victim, sort of energetic, in my opinion. And so when you emit that vibration and energy, that is what you'll get back. You'll get back not enough followers. You will get back rejection letters. And if you don't love yourself, and if you don't truly believe you're good enough, first and foremost, this sort of rejection might make you quit and give up and say, I knew it. I knew I wasn't good enough. And so you'll lack the grit to actually get to where you want to be. But when you've decided you are good with yourself, you love yourself, you know you're worthy, you know you have value to give, then a little rejection here and there is not going to stop you. And if you can really cultivate this vibration, think of all the incredible things you can do, because you're not waiting. You're not waiting for any sort of experience or feather in your cap to actually do something. Hell, I could have waited around for another 10 years to start a podcast, y'all. I could have waited until my business was making more money, or maybe until I had more Instagram followers. Shit, I only have, I don't know, I've definitely got less than 5,000 followers, okay? But I wasn't going to let that stop me. I wasn't going to let that act like a gatekeeper, because there are no gatekeepers anymore. When Gina came to me to ask me to speak at her event, I could have said, no, I'm not ready yet because, I don't have as many followers as this girl or that girl. I'm not a multi-million-dollar entrepreneur. No. I'm good with myself. I know I have value, and that is all that matters. And from that place, I will magnetize the right people into my circle that I can, in return, serve in some capacity. And all of this applies to you as well. Stop waiting for someone to pick you. Stop waiting until you have reached 10,000 followers on Instagram so that you can finally show up how you want to as your unwatered down self. Stop waiting until you have a certain amount of money in the bank before you consider yourself a true success or worthy or an expert. And stop letting outdated paradigms like this notion of a gatekeeper dictate what is possible for you and what you get to have and what you get to be. Because it's the dawning of the age of Aquarius, honey. And a gatekeeper is a thing of the past. It's all up to you. It's a new dawn. It may feel ugly at times and chaotic and scary, but we did choose to incarnate on this planet right here, right now. And we've got to see some of the beauty with it as well and see that we actually do have a lot of power. So I'm going to get off here and get back to my little boy. He's sick in bed, but don't forget how powerful you are. Thank you so much for stopping by this week. I make no money from this show. Actually, it costs me money to produce and host. So the best way you can show your support for this passion project of mine is by leaving the show a 5-star written review on Apple. Also, if you would like to contribute monetarily to the show, you can leave a tip in my digital tip jar, which I have the link in the show notes. You can always share it with a friend who you think could benefit from the message. Or even better, you can take a screenshot of this episode, upload it to your Insta stories, and tag me in it at Designing Vibes.